This video is going to cover the topic of compound shapes. Be sure the date and topic are at the top of your page. The essential question for this video is how do we find the area and/or perimeter of compound shapes? The first thing we need to know is what a compound shape is, and it sounds like a word you might be familiar with from block class, which is compound words. Compound shapes are made up of two or more different parts, just like compound words are made up of two or more different words. Sometimes these are also known as composite shapes. I just want you to be aware of that term because sometimes you'll see it composite and I don't want you to be confused. It is the same as a compound shape. I'll show you an example of a compound shape here. As you can see, this is not a traditional triangle or rectangle or square or circle, right? This is a compound shape. And when you see it, you might also be able to tell that there is a rectangle and a triangle piece. I can even draw a line right here to show that, right? So we have a rectangle, that's one shape, and a triangle that is another shape, right? So that's what a compound shape is. It's just made up of two different parts or more. The reason I bring this up is that sometimes we need to find the area and perimeter of compound shapes. Let's take a look at this example. It's similar to the one I had on our first page. Say we have a garden or some other design and it's shaped like this, and we need to find the area inside or the perimeter outside. The first thing we'll want to do is label the dimensions, and I've marked this on my grid paper carefully. I'm going to call these centimeters because I think your grid paper is centimeters. And so to get my dimensions, I've just counted my centimeter squares to figure out the distance around the outside that will help me find my perimeter. If I wanted a fence around this structure, right, I would just need to add up all of the sides all the way around to figure out the distance around the shape. Even though this is a compound shape, this is the same strategy we'd use for anything else. And so I'll just go ahead and do my total, which would be 30 centimeters. So that was the quick part, right? But the area is going to be just a little bit more fun. So I'm gonna think about how I could break this up into two shapes that I do have the ability to find the area for, and then I can just combine them. So it seems really easy for me to just break this into a rectangle and a triangle. And I'm gonna just find the area of that rectangle, the space inside, first. And of course, for any rectangle, the area is the number of squares inside, but I can do that more quickly by multiplying the base times the height. So in this case, that would be 6 times 7, which means I have an area of 42 square centimeters in this portion. And of course, to find the entire area, I also need to find the area of this triangle. And our area of triangle is similar. We do base times height, but then we have to divide it in half. And the base is still 6 centimeters, right? That's the same as it is on the bottom. The height I don't know yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and imagine dropping maybe a penny down from the top here. And if I count, I can see that the height is 4 centimeters, right? It's 4 units. And I'm looking for a good spot to write that here, but that means that our base of 6 times our height of 4 would be cut in half to get our area, and that's 24 divided by 2, or 12. So this section here, let me circle that part, and then this part is 12 square centimeters. And as you see, it can get a little bit messy here, but now I have the parts that I need. So I know the area is the rectangle, which is 42, plus the triangle, which is 12. So my area is a total of 54 square centimeters. Sometimes under the topic of compound or composite shapes, we also have things like this, right, where we have a shape inside a shape, and you're told to find the area without the hole, right? So let's say this black space here is the hole. So what's the area remaining? So in that case, right, we're just going to find the area of the original shape and take out what we need to remove. I'll make that hopefully a little bit more clear. So the area of the big rectangle, right, is just base times height. So that means we have to do 7 times 5. And our area then is 35 square centimeters, right? If we want to know the area that is not shaded in, I also need to know the area of the small rectangle. And again, that's base times height, but this time that means it's 3 times 1. I already have my measurements there. So the area of this is 3 square centimeters. If I'm told to find the area of the non-shaded area, then I need to find 35 square centimeters and take away the 3 square centimeters. And I end up with 32 centimeters squared. That is the part remaining when I take out the shaded space. This was a really friendly example, right? The numbers were really friendly. They were both rectangles. But I just want you to be aware that sometimes you are not just adding space together, but you might also be removing and subtracting space. For your turn, we have a triangle here with a rectangle inside, and I'd like you to find the area of the gray space. So the triangle with that rectangle removed, I guess, is another way of saying that. And this will give you a chance to practice the topic of compound shapes, or what we sometimes call composite shapes, which was the essential question of this video. So do your best on this to show how you're going to break that into parts and get one final area. And of course, we'll be practicing this more together in class.